The Lazarus Frequency, the church that built a machine to talk to God and got an answer. Date 1989 to 1994. Location Palermo, Italy. Vatican Technical Annex. Silo 3 classification. Declassified. Vatican NSA Interlink Memo 09.11.07. It started quietly. The Vatican commissioned a team of physicists and theologians to design a device capable of detecting the moment of soul departure. They wanted proof of the instant when consciousness left the body. The system, called the Lazarus Array, used infrasonic sound waves to detect quantum field fluctuations within a 3-foot radius of dying patients. For 6 months, the readings were static. Then, one night in February 1990, a signal returned. It wasn't a spike. It was a pattern, rhythmic, tonal, melodic. The sound resembled a voice distorted through static, repeating a single Latin phrase. Non estis vosci spiratus. It is not you who breathe. The Vatican seized all tapes, but technicians leaked fragments to local radio enthusiasts. When the frequencies were inverted and slowed, hidden layers emerged, harmonics resembling human speech at impossible speeds. One layer was identified as a reverse chant, translated as, "We built the gate from sound. You've already opened it." When the experiment was replicated, the equipment overheated at exactly 3:33 a.m. Every bulb in the facility blew simultaneously. The temperature in the room dropped to freezing, though the instrument still read 27 degrees Celsius. One priest collapsed. Witnesses say he mouthed words before going unconscious. They are not coming from above. The recording from that night became known as File LZ01. When analyzed spectrographically, the waveform revealed an image, not random noise, but a perfect outline of the human larynx, as though the sound itself were shaped like a throat. In 1994, the entire project was absorbed into a NATO acoustic research initiative, but the Vatican kept one copy of the full audio, stored in a lead box within the archives of the Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith. A 2007 NSA memo cross-referencing the file concludes, frequency not terrestrial, resonance matches known atmospheric band at 18.2 Hz, identical to tone detected in South Pacific Anomaly, see Project Nightwind. Possible continuity between biological and cosmological signal sources. Meaning, the voice of God might not have been divine, but sentient resonance, a consciousness made of sound. In 2021, an Italian sound archivist accidentally replicated the tone using cathedral reverb acoustics. All 3 microphones in the studio recorded the same whispered phrase before cutting out. You remembered me. He hasn't spoken since. And every Easter since 2022, low-frequency hums between 18 and 19 Hz have been detected across multiple cathedrals worldwide, always around 3:33 a.m. This one's sourced from the declassified joint U.S.-Japanese report called the Misaki Phenomenon. The Misaki Frequency, the town that slipped out of time, date April 1989, location Misaki, Japan, Aomori Prefecture. Status partially declassified, 2018 at 4:23 a.m., a meteorological satellite captured something impossible. A rural coastal town, 12,000 residents, vanished from radar for exactly 6 minutes, then reappeared. No explosions, no earthquakes, no radiation, but the town's electrical grid rebooted as if 72 hours had passed. Survivors described hearing a deep humming that came from inside the sky and watching the sun freeze above the horizon. During those 6 missing minutes, everyone's clocks jumped forward 3 days. When authorities arrived, several hundred residents were missing, and the remaining people couldn't agree on what had happened, except that something huge and transparent had hovered above the bay, warping light and air. All animals were found dead, not decomposed, just perfectly drained of moisture. Their eyes were smooth mirrors. A maintenance crew working on the coastal transmission tower found a charred signal relay that had recorded the event. The waveform was identical to the one used by Japan's seismic alert system, but reversed. When the tape was slowed down 50x, a low voice emerged. Do you remember when you were the reflection? The area was sealed off, labeled as radioactive fog contamination. But satellite photography shows that the entire coastline shifted by 11 centimeters overnight. In 2013, Google Earth captured faint blue distortions hovering above the same bay in the same shape as the town's perimeter. And people living nearby still receive blank phone calls at 4:23 a.m., followed by 3 seconds of silence and faint whispering, always ending with, "You came back wrong." The Pit of Aokigahara, the Earth That Whispered. First date, March 11, 2011. Location, Aokigahara Forest, Japan. Coordinates restricted. Following the Tohoku earthquake, geological drones surveying the Aokigahara region detected something impossible, a subterranean resonance signature originating 19 kilometers below the surface. At first, scientists assumed it was aftershock data, but the pattern wasn't seismic, it was speech frequency. Translated to human range, it formed a repeating pulse resembling the Japanese words, "Minna mada shindenai," they are not all dead yet. A monitoring team from JAXA, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, recorded the event. Within 48 hours, all 5 members reported identical dreams, the forest shaking while roots pulled upward like hands. The last message sent from the team leader's phone read, "The ground is hollow but breathing." Days later, hikers reported seeing lights under the forest floor, red and white pulses that moved like veins. Geological sensors detected heat signatures consistent with living tissue, 30 meters deep. When excavation was attempted, instruments jammed and drones malfunctioned. Footage recovered from the final descent camera shows something unexplainable, a cavern with thousands of human-shaped silhouettes pressed into the walls, each faintly luminescent and twitching as if dreaming. The audio track ended with 3 minutes of deep rumbling, then a whisper, identical to the earlier translation, but this time spoken in every known human language layered together. Declassified JSDF documents now refer to this zone as Vocal Rift Number 2. Satellite scans show continuous low-frequency resonance beneath the forest, like the earth humming in mourning. No insects live in the immediate area. Birdsong stops within 100 meters of the central pit. A later seismic report, 2018, notes that the vocal frequency rises every year around March, the anniversary of the quake, and peaks exactly at 2:46 p.m., the time of the original tremor. And in 2020, tourists recorded a new phenomenon, fog-forming symbols over the forest floor, cursive loops resembling written kanji for return. The government dismissed it as condensation, but geologists confirmed the fog moved against the wind.